stop the recording really quickly. I don't know where
Yeah.
it records to. That's going to be interesting to see.
You should. Did you not have to set up a file pathway for it?
Have to, Shay? Have to?
I mean, OBS was always like, "You gotta tell me where things go," and I was like, "OBS, come on, be a friend."
Let me see. I don't remember setting a file path for that, so I can look at that really quickly.
Yeah, go for it. I'm trying to make my background scenery here not look so sad. So
Turns out it looks like, at least right now, it goes to the C users videos.
okay.
And for whatever reason right now I cannot change that. That's probably because we're actively... Technically, I started the stream on Twitch.
Oh,
So
okay.
what you technically can do, if you want to see all of this, is you could just go watch us on Twitch.
Dude, okay, so me and Gibbons used to do that. We tried for a little bit doing a.
Hey, look, it works.
Yeah.
I just
go.
wanted to make sure that chat box worked. I'm very sorry that it entertains me.
Oh, no, you're all good. Alright. So. Alright, I'm gonna move this. Move that.
And we are technically multi-streaming, so technically this is also live on YouTube. So I decided to just pay for our multi-streaming.
Oh, wow.
It's like
How much
$100
Oh, whoa. Like a year or a month?
for a year.
Oh, okay. Okay, because, like.
No, Shay.
I was like,
No.
alright. Yeah. I think my background looks a little less egregiously sad.
Wait, somebody is watching us.
Who? Is it Jordan?
I hope it's Jordan. You literally said that Jordan would come in and Shay's video is maybe frozen. I'm not 100% sure that we're doing this right. So this is a little bit of a test for us. So Simi, if you're Jordan, I'm just sorry ahead of time. He may freeze off and on. There's supposed to be a stream mode that I think. I wonder if I can pin to stay on top or something. I bet that helps it.
It's okay. Like in my own Discord, my face is far too large on the screen, and now like it's just a series of me like micro focusing on like the fact that my glasses are perpetually askew.
All right.
I did wear in preparation of us covering that Charmander Shepherd, because we're going to be covering dragons.
The way you're currently frozen, by the way. The way you're currently frozen is just amazing. It's beautiful.
How is it? Like,
for me, it's a shocked face, just a. So, anyway, it's Alex that's watching us.
Okay.
I suppose that you probably want me to do things like get my Audacity up and get ready to actually record this now.
We should do that, yeah. That's probably so. Like I said, I was fixating on. Well, I guess it's a good thing I changed my background up because
I probably shouldn't have gone live so far ahead of when we were actually going to record here. So Alex is having to just really enjoy whatever the heck is going on here.
That's okay. There's one time back with the Jade Throne where I accidentally didn't cut out like the preamble to us like getting ready for the episode. So there's like a 2-minute long thing and us doing the clap sync. And I only knew about it because someone was like, that's how you guys sync up audio.
Yeah, this is streaming to YouTube, Shay. So we're gonna have to cut some of that stuff off.
Okay. Works for me.
Well, let's get going. I'll figure out how to fix all that other stuff later. I'm gonna hit the record button, and then we can get synced up, and we can actually get going.
All right. Now count us off with a 1, 2, 3, sync. All right, Adam, go into the intro.
All right, welcome. We are Kadachi for 3, and tonight we hit our day 4 spoilers. I know, one day late, but like I said, Shay and I actually had good things happen to us, so let's just share in the non-disaster that was our lives.
I thought it was best to do it in kind of like a solemn moment of like quiet reflection.
Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
Like that's how it needs to be done. I
If we
personally
celebrate,
think we made the right decision.
if we celebrate too loudly, the disasters will hear.
Besides, day 5 of spoilers was somebody opening a case and then taking the grainiest possible video and pictures of that case opening. So that's been a little bit of a struggle for me to get through.
Well, so the downside is it was the first person who took the grainy, awful pictures and opened the Fable. The other ones are actually very well done. Actually, I watched through one of the, I think it was a Fab Unsealed or whatever, the one that does box openings, and his stuff was actually really like crisp quality, easy to read cards. He took his time. He flipped the dragons over so you could read what was on the back.
Oh, well, that
So
seems very, very sweet and very nice of him. And I wish the person who I had pulled all of my images from had done the exact same thing.
it's the Discord bots also pulled from him because they were the first ones to pop up for it. So
First ones, okay.
yeah, it's I played enough Warhammer. I'm used to like deciphering potato cam photos.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's read the new point spoilers for that. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Warhammer tonight. We are here to talk about more dragons. Apparently, I honestly thought we were out of dragons.
So, fun thing, we did get spoiled back on Tuesday. The complete list of dragons.
Oh, we did. In fact, I have that somewhere.
It's at the
Actually,
bottom of
it's-
our yeah.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of our number 26, though, unfortunately. So that'll be for the next stream because I don't have it.
No, it's the bottom of 25.
Oh, it's the bottom of 25? Well,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. I think that might be a nice place to start, as there is kind of a uniqueness to how the dragons are going to operate, and we got it confirmed how they're going to be doing it.
Yeah, I think this is a good a good place to start then.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it looks like this image is flipped here, so I don't know that I can really fix this.
I don't trust my internet not to implode, so I actually can't see the stream going on.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I've got
It's
my
flipped around for some reason in the image.
mirror situation.
I don't honestly know why it would be doing that, but we'll see.
But yeah, so I guess while we're sorting that out, I can kind of give. This is how I actually thought they were going to do dragons, since they were double-sided cards. This is like a checklist card, similar to how they do for like transform mechanic stuff in Magic. When a set has that, you have a little card where you can do a little check mark that acts as a proxy in your deck, and it's like, oh, this represents, card X or whatever. I'm familiar with it because my guilty pleasure Magic mechanic is similar to the dragons in that I love playing Innistrad werewolf stuff, and they've had them pop up like 3 or 4 times over the past like 10 years.
We got
So
our image fixed, by the way, so anybody who's
good.
watching this can now read this listed from top to bottom, which I assume that you are looking at. So,
But no, it lets us know that we have, let's we'll go Sesame Street on this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 dragons.
12 dragons indeed.
9 of which you can run more than one of.
Okay.
So what, we're looking at 18, 21 dragon is the maximum amount of dragons you can have in your deck, which, okay, like if you wanted to slap an Oops All Dragons deck together, that's enough of
Dragons
a...
and ways to generate ash is
Yeah.
probably not the worst thing in the world. Now this card does say you may put this in your deck in place of any invocation you own. Mark the box next to the dragon's name. This invokes when the card is played or put into your graveyard. You just swap it for the invocation card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I imagine we're going to need a ton of these. Well, 21 of them, as Shay said.
Yeah, you'll probably want to have... I guess like every time... I wonder if it is... So, we also, between all the box breaks and everything today, we now know there are very few outstanding cards left.
That's correct. 6, I believe.
Yep, and 2 of them being... Or no, I think 3 of them being legendaries. So we still don't know what the Draconic Legendary, the Ice Legendary, or the Ninja Legendary are. And we know they will be a generic ninja, a generic ice, and a generic draconic due to their placings in the order here. We also know we got a majestic ice card, a majestic elemental wizard card, and a majestic illusionist card. But we also have a weird token that's number 226 that we don't know what it is, and it hasn't popped up, so that's interesting.
Yeah, it's rare that we ever see a token be one of the hidden cards. That's typically always spoiled by now, so I am also interested in seeing what that's going to be like.
My heart of hearts hopes it's Titanium Bauble Atom.
Honestly, I'm guessing it is the cracked bauble, and the reason they've hidden it is because it is finally completely opened.
Nope, cracked bauble is 224, and its art is the same as it was in Tales of Aria.
Wow. Well, look at you. You just already have all this stuff. So I think we should start on the actual spoilers.
We probably should.
I didn't go through this cool spreadsheet that you've got. So day 4 spoilers actually starting. I suppose you could crop the episode to here, but Invoke Chromai. This one was spoiled by Fluke and Box. This one is a 0-cost red pitch, blocks for 3. Transform the target Ash you control into Chromai, and it gives go again, just like all the others. Chromai is a Draconic Illusionist Dragon ally. Once per turn, when Chromai attacks or leaves the arena, you just gain an action point, which seems very good. He also has 3 attack and 2 health, so he can't be popped by that new wizard spoiler we saw today.
Yep. Now, card's pure gas. It's the card that needed to be shown for Draconic Illusionist for the whole thing to work. And it is a rare based on its number placement. Because a lot of the dragons, some of them were kind of up in the air because we only saw the Marvel version, right, which was kind of the case with Chromai. But being where Chromai is placed in the list, we know this is a rare. So if your sealed pool or your draft, you see Chromai and you're wanting to go Draconic Illusionist, pretty good to... In your sealed pool, if you're not seeing a Chromai, you're probably in a bit of a dangerous place going.
I'm going to hesitate on that. There's not a lot of 6 power attacks in the sealed pool, so it's not like you're going to get all of them broken.
Though there are some... There are enough that I'm kind of concerned. Let's just say... there's a... we saw it's basically a better Rally the Rear Guard at the red that would be a 6. And I think it's like an auto slap in any limited pool.
I completely agree. That's going to be an auto draft with Illusionist being one of the primaries. That being said, if you can get one of these and you want to play Illusionist, it is definitely a pack one, pick one, I think. It seems that strong. Gaining action points even when they leave the arena is insane.
Yeah. And this also lets you, even just getting a random action point to do there's a little generic heal action that would let you heal. That's I think a 0-cost, but it's an action. This guy lets you get a free heal off at the end of your thing. He enables so much. So
yeah, there is indeed the worse Sigil of Solace, right?
Yeah, it's like healing bombs.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So here's the only question I had on this card, and I probably should know this, but it says when Chromai attacks or leaves the arena, gain an action point. So what does it mean by leaves the arena? Because it clearly can't mean dies from being attacked, because you cannot gain an action point on your opponent's turn.
I think it's if he pops, you get one, I think is the main thing.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Which might mean that you could, if they, phantasm him away, he refunds his own action point for attacking, and you still get the additional economy of 2 action points effectively.
Well, if he pops, he is not considered to have attacked, so that is...
Oh, okay, that's probably
that. Refunding the action point.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, regardless, he's a foot... Chromai's a footsteps.
All right, well, you want to take us onward?
Yeah, let's go with Invoke Miragai? Miragai?
Hey, that's what I would have said.
Okay. It's a 1-cost Draconic Illusionist Invocation, and it is a 2/4 with if your first dragon attack each turn loses and can't gain Phantasm, which is good. It makes these the legendary ones that you can run without just being oh, that's going to get auto popped. So I think this is a staple as far as the dragons go. And let me see.
It's not limited to a one of, right? Or do you know on this one?
We know it's not legendary and it's a rare. So
Okay, I didn't know if there was another rule that you were quoting there. I assumed that was the legendary mark, but
Mhm.
make sure that
Yeah,
was
we have
it.
three. We have three dragons that are legendary. So he. I know when they were first all previewed, like Draconic Optima and all those, like everyone's a little apprehensive because it's like, well, my opponent's just going to pop this with Phantasm.
Yeah, it costs so much.
Yeah. So now you have, this dragon that has a static effect. And as we talked in previous episodes, the dragons with static effects are really important. So it is going to be interesting to see if the Ash Generation engine can get there and you can have the support dragons you need and the attack dragons you need and build that board state in a timely manner and not just kind of get dunked on
I do
by
think it's
Frostbite.
going to be the build in a timely manner part that's
Mhm.
the issue. I don't think you're going to have an issue building it across the game just based on the cards we've seen, but
Mhm.
building it fast enough to not die to like Fi's aggro. I think will be the big issue.
And in like classic constructed proper, I think we are entering into what we speculated on when Tails was dropping and ice cards are being previewed, the Ice Hell meta, where Oldhim and Islander are going to tell us nobody's allowed to have fun.
Yeah, I kind of think you're right, especially because while none of those cards individually have an extraordinarily high power level, like a lot of the new ice cards we've seen, they are good bread and butter cards. They're cards that I would always choose to run, and so that's
The ice
enough.
the problem is there's some ice cards that are like zero cost that just like, oh, give them a frostbite token, but like now Lexi can pop two frostbite tokens out on just a normal flip and clear out her arsenal. Like the ice heroes are going to be in a very interesting spot moving forward. So I'm excited to see how that goes, and I'm excited to see if Dami and Fry can really like get their footing, or if we gotta wait for old him to go to the retirement home.
We'll see. But on that note, let's see what
Mm-hmm.
kind of grows up here. Let's invoke some Yindarai, which just a gorgeous card, by the way.
This is my favorite dragon art.
This is my favorite dragon art as well. I'm glad we're in agreement on that because I think it's gorgeous. Anyway, it says transform target as you control into Yindarai. Has go again just like all the others. This one actually has flavor text. Yay it. Does also block for 3. He is a 3 power, 3 health dragon, so he's relatively easy to keep around, but he's just a one actual attack card away from going bye bye.
Mm-hmm.
He enters the arena with an endurance counter on him. If he would be dealt damage, remove an endurance counter from him to prevent 3 of that damage instead.
So basically, it makes it where it's a two pop unless they're throwing something really big into it. So they're gonna have to throw 6 into it. They might as well wait for you to try to attack with it and just use that 6 damage to pop Phantasm. Um, yeah, no, I think it's might be deceptively and like a little bit of deceptive endurance, and being at the rare slot, being a 1 cost, you will be able to pitch a red, generate an Ash. You'll play this. You'll turn your engine on. So it's kind of like a sweet spot. It's also one that it would take like 2 or 3 frostbite tokens to really have your turn be completely shut off with and not be able to play it. So that's kind of that sweet spot you want to be in.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there.
Yeah,
I'm hoping nobody can hear my background noise right now because my son has woken up.
I can't hear it over Discord if that makes you feel better.
It makes me feel better. It means you can probably remove it, and nobody in our stream's going to hear it. So we will move on to
Yeah.
the judge community.
I will say one thing before we leave Grass Dragon here. It totally looks like
Grace
the
Dragon.
yeah, it looks like from Inuyasha, like the wolf dog demon, Inuyasha's dad. I like it.
Oh, Naraku? Or nah, man. You know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna try to find that reference.
Naroku was the bad guy.
You're right. It's
Mm-hmm.
been too long since I've seen Inuyasha, and it's not. It kind of got old when it was just basically a different version of Windscar over and over again. His power ups just weren't interesting.
They randomly did like a few years ago, like the end of it, and it's like a 10 episode thing that's like, oh, the end of the series, and it just moves so fast. Like, no, this is Inuyasha. It's supposed to take like 36 episodes for one episode's worth of plot to happen.
Exactly.
The sequel series is good. I like Yashahime, Princess Half Demon.
See, I didn't watch it because of the other one. But anyway.
Yeah, the hat.
Helios Mitre, which I assume is the name for some form of a hat, but I don't know how I feel about it.
It's like a priest garb thing.
It says a player may add Helios Mitre to their card pool in an Uprising limited format. Instant, prevent the next damage that would be dealt to your hero this turn by a source of your choice. Destroy this at the beginning of the end phase. So pay 2 to prevent 1 damage that would be dealt, but 1 of any kind.
Mm-hmm. So the cool thing about it is a piece of token equipment that everyone has access to in limited, and then I guess technically it's also not a token, it's a piece of equipment that's in the token slot. So like you can run it if you wanted to in normal constructed, but it's cool that everyone's going to have access to a piece of equipment in sealed.
Yeah, no matter what, this is not a you must draft the first head that you see. You know you're at least going to have access to this. And while, honestly, prevent 1 damage of any source isn't that great, especially when you're paying 2 for it instead of 1, like an Arcane Barrier, it's still better than nothing, and on a crucial turn, especially if you're playing a fairly blue-heavy deck, it could actually block quite a bit, because it's an instant.
Yeah, dude, this thing, like, I would have loved this in Tales of Aria draft, and I'm glad they're kind of doing this with, this in Phoenix Flame, like these kind of token cards that everyone's going to be able to, like, kind of access and use.
I am more and more seeing where they got their confidence level of our new draft format or our new limited format is going to be very solid, very balanced. I can see that, especially the way they're kind of designing some of these cards. I don't want to say anything too definitive yet, but I can see where they were going with it for sure.
Yeah, no. At the very least, it is a good faith effort in addressing issues that we saw with Tales draft.
Yeah, and honestly, that's about all we can ask. A good faith effort is something.
Yeah.
All right, we have a 3-for-1 here, and I believe Quelling Robe is just a little bit cut off on the screen, so I do apologize for that.
The art on these is pretty.
Yeah, the ult on them is fine. I mean, they were all spoiled by Fab with Matt. They all are basically just the exact same thing. They've got Quell 1 on it, and it's a foot, a chest, and arms. Quell 1.
Yeah, and they're all commons, so, like, in a pinch, you can grab one of them. Don't rush. I think you're safe that they might make it around.
I don't know. I honestly think that one of these, meaning depending on how many you think you're going to see, taking at least one of them and then waiting for the others might be worth doing. Especially if you're playing a blue heavy deck, right? If you're going to be playing one of the red heavy decks, or if you're not going to run many resources in your deck, I can see you kind of passing along on these. But honestly,
that is true. Like, I will say some of the common level equipment's been a bit whelming this set. So, like, then again, it's common equipment. It's not like not everything can be Snapdragon scalers.
Correct.
So I don't know. They're all right. Once again, would have killed to have these in Tales of Aria draft.
Oh, of course. I mean, would have been basically best card in the format.
Yeah.
In Tales, not best card of the format, of course, but it would have been way more important to.
It would have been a consideration for back one, pick one in Tales, like
especially with so many of those 1-ping arcane effects that give you that on hit that enable a lot of the Runeblade tricks.
For sure.
Let's move on to another token they got spoiled here.
Yeah, so we got Waning Moon. So we all expected Islander's weapon to be the one that she had in Everfest.
I definitely did.
Yeah, but instead it's actually a much more interesting weapon with the Waning Moon, which is a wizard weapon, 2-handed staff. And it has a once per turn instant, spend 2 resources, deal 2 arcane damage to target hero. If it's not your turn, instead, deal 3 arcane damage to them. Activate this ability only if you've played a non-attack action card this turn. So important, it does require a bare minimum of 2 cards in hand to get this thing rolling, because you'll need something to pay its cost, something to play. So it is a bit more... It's not like a super consistent weapon that you can always trigger, but it plays so well into her game plan. Like, flip a blue, play a blue from Arsenal, follow up with the Waning Moon, ping for 3. Like, she has this nice little gameplay loop that is this consistent tax of resources on your opponent, and I think this really enables that game plan. This alone made me interested to start tinkering with her, especially in Blitz.
So what is Islander's effect again? And I really hate that I don't know that, but I do believe you wouldn't necessarily have to have one in hand, because I think this is on your opponent's turn going to be triggered from that play out of Arsenal most often.
To play out of Arsenal, so you have to play a blue out of Arsenal. So hers has to be a blue in Arsenal to be played. If it's an ice card, it creates a Frostbite token. So
I mean, I can see some really solid synergies there. I like it, honestly. I can still see the argument for playing your Kraken's Aethervine, or Aethervine, however you want to say that, just because that always has that overarching card recursion that you're, pitching to maybe ping through a damage. If they're blocking it, you win. If they don't block it, you get a card. I mean,
I think this puts a more consistent clock on the opponent, which is what she needs. The ping with like some advantage, it's okay, but like, either you're starting with the other staff or you're ending with the other staff, and there's going to be a lot of the time just like leftover resources can stop that one damage. I actually think this is 3 arcane damage is annoying enough that it requires a blue from hand minimum. It would require a blue from hand minimum to get all the things from different arcane barrier. So, you punish people for not having that arcane barrier in their equipment suite. So, I think this one's I think it's going to do a lot of work.
I agree with you. I just don't have anything else to say on it, sadly.
Yeah, no.
It is what it is. Here's where we get to the bad pictures, by the way. This card's going to reach out and touch you, and sadly, the picture of the Legendary is one of the worst pictures that we got.
Yeah.
I guess we were trying to show the shine here. Now, it was done through a YouTube video, so I could have gone in and taken a better screen grab of this particular one. But this... it's got a very interesting effect. Whenever an illusionist attack you control is destroyed by Phantasm, put a haunt counter on Ghostly Touch. Once per turn action, remove a haunt counter from Ghostly Touch. Until the end of the turn, this becomes an illusionist ally with Phantasm. Base power and health equal the number of haunt counters on it. Once per turn action, 3-cost attack, go again.
In defense for 0. It's
very interesting.
It is. I don't think either of our illusionists currently will slot this in over other options.
You think removing Phantasm is going to be better than what I would assume is going to have to be one giant attack at the end, right?
I just don't think this thing's going to scale fast enough. And I think, I think there's a fair number of other options that both illusionists would kind of take over this. I think the hero that this equipment is for isn't here yet. Because, it's dead in certain matches. Against Guardian, it probably feels like a consolation prize. You feel good. You're okay, every one of these you pop, I'm going to eventually have this thing that I can swing in, time and time again, but...
Yeah, I can still see it being a sideboard versus something like that. But even that, you can't swing in time and time again. This becomes an ally with Phantasm itself. So that's how you lose this piece of equipment, right? It gets popped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I scrolled up quickly. That dragon only grants it to dragons. So,
yep.
Of course, this is not immune in any way, shape, or form. It's interesting. I like the mechanic, but you may have convinced me that it's not that strong.
I think it will potentially find a home one day. I think this is a seed for some design space they want to like explore for illusionists down the road. So yeah.
I think it's interesting that Necromancer is still going to exist because this feels, kind of maybe the illusionist that has a Necromancer flavor instead of an actual Necromancer in the game.
Yeah, like Necromancer, I think is going to be ooky spooky zombies. This is going to be more like ooh ghosts and kind of things like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm super excited for presumably our shadow illusionist, hot topic illusionist, but
Yeah, the one with way too much eyeliner for sure.
yeah, no, like flippy bangs for days, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But its time is not here, and this is kind of Prism likes to have yellow pitch cards. Dromai likes to have red pitch cards. This wants you to have blue pitch cards. So, but no, it's a nice little seed. We'll see where it goes in the future of the game. But in our current realm, I think there are better options. Maybe that's just me, and I'm addicted to the idea of Dreamweavers to have crazy fractal replication turns. So
I mean, I do have some weird playtest ideas with it, but honestly, I think a lot of them end up being very combo-y, and a lot of them end up being very matchup dependent, and so I could see it being a sideboard card for a few matches for me, and I will of course playtest it. We all will, but I don't know. I'm gonna reserve some judgment. It may be a little bit of a lackluster legendary for a while, though. Incidentally, we had a lot of people disagree with our lackluster rating of the recent helmet. They said we didn't compare it directly enough to the Arcanite Skullcap. I feel that we did, and if we didn't at the time, I still think the 2-block than the 1-block is still very good and still has its place. And one single instance of card cycling when you might not also need a heavy block makes it very versatile, but not necessarily empirically better.
I stand by my. It's like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I'm standing by it too. I wanted to re-hit it since we were called out, sir.
I mean, my counterpoint is like, dude, I play Ninja. Like, I have massive momentum. Like, my bar for what a helmet has to be is very high.
Your counterpoint is that class equipment is definitely still going to be better than the generic equipment, which I do agree on, right? Like, Ninja never runs Arcanite either.
Yeah, like the classes that it would be open for are there's not a lot of them, and like yeah, those ones like it, but they also like Skullcap. So like I don't know. I think people were like, "Oh, it's so cool!" It's like drawing cards is fun. I get it, but
drawing cards is very fun.
Yeah,
we have hit an odd card, probably one that had to go ahead and exist in this format for draft and sealed, or is preparing for those ooky spooky zombies and future proofing, because right now it only is good against one other hero.
No, so this is for our impending wizards. There's a couple other cards that come up this set where it's just the Wizard Mirror, like Kano v Kano or Kano v Islander or Islander v Islander, are just going to be toxic and just the most painful thing ever. So if they become popular, your mirror match will be the worst. And this is one of those cards for the mirror match.
Up to 3 allies. Why is this a mirror match?
Oh,
Wizard?
you scrolled past the wizard.
Oh, damn it! Sorry.
The wizard robe. Yeah.
You're right. I forget you can't see the stream.
I can't see the screen. No,
I did scroll past that legendary, and I went straight to the next one. So yeah, never mind. You're right, based on not being able to see the stream. So Eluvian Constellus. The first time it prevents arcane damage each turn, if it has less than 4 energy counters, you can put an energy counter on it. You can instant remove 2 energy counters. The next staff ability you activate costs 3 less. Arcane Barrier 1. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is a mirror match card. I don't really see a lot of other reasons to play this, but it's a good card.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, but no, you'll slot it in for the wizard mirror. I guess
It's possible you could slot it in against a rune blade.
maybe, yeah, yeah.
I
Why
don't think
not?
I would typically.
I could see it maybe if you're playing like Waning Moon, and you're against like Viscera and things like that. Like,
Agreed.
yeah, it's for you know the matchups it'll need to go in for. And I think as the game goes on, like it will be more and more useful for wizards because I do think arcane barrier or not arcane barrier, arcane damage is going to be a piece of the design pie that just slowly kind of goes out to all the different classes.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so but no, now we can go to Singe because I actually really like this card. This card's
Yeah, now we will go to Singe, and you can read it,
uh,
and you can talk about it, and I'll just sit back and pretend that I didn't try to jump the gun. I was excited about it.
yeah. So we know it's going to actually have a full suite of a blue, a yellow, and a red. It's a one coster. Deal one damage to a target hero and up to three target allies they control in the red version, and it blocks for three, and it's a common. So at the blue version, it's just hitting hero for one ally for one. At the red, it's hitting three allies for one. This is great for board clearing. If you're a wizard, you're going to slot this in against Dromai because this like pings down those Ash Wings. Really, it's just a Dromai hate card right now, but in draft, worth grabbing if you're on Wizard. If you have these in your sealed pool, feel comfortable going into Dromai during the pre-release events.
Yep, don't push yourself to pick it up too fast. Probably. I guess it depends on how many wizards you have read the pod at.
It also depends if people view Dromai like they do Prism in Monarch Draft.
Oh,
Just
very
grab.
true.
Yeah, just grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody runs Prism. It's the favorite.
yeah. Speaking of illusionist things, I want to grab this card
Go
because
for it.
we have Frightmare. This is a red 3 cost, just generic illusionist, majestic. It has a 13 attack strength, no defense, and play Frightmare only if an illusionist attack action card you control has been destroyed by Phantasm this turn, and it itself has Phantasm. The magical Christmas land for this card is delightful. How you get there is such a narrow path that I don't.
I love that you went Frightmare before Christmas on it. I really do.
Yeah, no. But it's yeah. If you get it off, like it will be, you'll feel like the most galaxy brain play possible. But in the current pool, I don't think either illusionist really is gonna run this. If we ever once again get an illusionist that wants to do that kind of blue-red iris build, and gets kind of the meat and potatoes cards to support it, I think this thing will catch people whenever that first happens, and it's going to be funny when you get to, fractal your Frightmare and come at someone for 26 damage.
I think
But
this with Phantasmal Footsteps is still a playable card. I do.
So
Especially in the new aura type builds that do run enough blues to pay for it. I don't know. I don't think it's bad.
my problem is so first off you have to have the resources to pitch to play it something with Phantasm that's relevant enough that your opponent's willing to pop it. At which point you also have to have a blue or 3 resources worth of card to pitch to play Frightmare, and then have the money to play something. I guess you don't have to have money to play something after Frightmare, but you want to play the Fractal. Like if you're not fractaling off your Frightmare, like why you're not even living the dream at that point.
I mean, it's not the dream, but it's still 13 damage. So it's not quite a heave card, but it only costing 3 does make it pretty nice. I can see it being something you run 1 or 2 of and toss in the arsenal, especially if you find a good way to stack your turns towards the end of the game. It can be a closer card in my mind.
Potentially.
Not blocking, it is risky. I completely give you that, and it is maybe just a bit of a fantasy. So
That said, in a limited environment, depending on how frequently people are popping those phantasm effects,
How are you getting the
uh,
action point limited though?
man, I mean, I don't know. You swung with action point dragon.
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really all you're getting though, right? That's the only way I can think of being able to trigger it is
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it's bad and limited, but we'll see.
Yeah, you're right. I always forget that.
You need that piece of
Yeah,
equipment, right?
yeah, yeah. It's a shame, but funny card.
That being said, we have finally gotten something Magic players has been wanting for a while into this game. We have gotten Rewind, a blue wizard instant. Negate target non-attack action card and return it to its owner's hand. That hero then gains 1 action point.
It's
I
not as good as the Magic Rewind, but I think it is pretty funny.
I it's not as good as the one in Magic. Completely true. It is. Let me see. It's the equivalent of a route to an extent, in that all it really does is put the card back in your opponent's hand, but they can replay it. So it just costs them whatever resources they use to pay it. At least unless Negate has additional triggers or additional definitions that we have not been spoiled on. That's how I would read it. So if they play something for free, it's completely useless against that.
That said, if you have a like another wizard that is Kano in particular, if you it doesn't have to be negate. It has to just negate before the thing resolves. So whenever they play a non-attack action at instant speed, it's still a non-attack action, correct?
It's still a non-attack action, yeah.
So I can wait till you're almost comboed out on your like Kano thing, and I'm going to do this and this, and like, cool. I negate the thing here that is like the root of your stack. So now you have not like it will come in at an awkward point, and they can't target off each other. So like, this is once again a wizard hell card. Like,
That's a good point.
it's
Yeah, I mean, technically, I've done a bunch of buffs to my warrior attack, for example. It is an instant. I can later then negate early, and it stops buffing the feature card. I believe that would be the case.
yeah. It so I feel for the judges. There are going to be some really weird situations
There are.
with
How
with
this
this.
targets different things.
Yeah, and if it can, whenever something's being treated as an instant, if it still counts as a non-attack for the purpose of this card's targeting and all that. But that all being said,
It will. It will.
oh,
For sure.
good. Then yeah, no, this is like, dude, the Wizard Mirror. I don't want to play it.
It's treated as an instant to play it, but it does not change the base value of the card. Now, I guess we will see that in the pre-release notes for Rewind. I'm going to guess that's one of the central things that they cover is how it deals with instants, or things played as instants. But yeah, the way I would read the rules right now would be able to interact with it still.
It is interesting though, where you can think you're having like like a big brain play, and then you accidentally gave your opponent a bonus action point because you targeted something that hadn't cost an action point. And it goes back to hand, and they still had stuff to do like a follow up with it and everything. But I don't know. I like it.
Your next attack gains go again, and then
Yeah.
they make the attack, and then you get rid of that. Well, now they're done.
But yeah, no. I don't know where I'd rate it on like raw power level, but on like the two people like holding their heads, trying to have the mental flowchart of what's going on and when that needs to be played.
That's not a card for me for sure.
It's gonna be fun.
Neither is this next card, honestly. But I'm not. I'm not an illusionist player, and I don't think anything outside of the Urzal Dragon build has really convinced me.
I gotta. You could read it off. I have a whole diatribe.
You came with a lot of spiel today.
I did.
I think I just have not drank enough coffee, and we're also covering a lot of things that like I'm just not excited about Prism type stuff. I know Dromai is different, but once we got past the dragons, I don't know. So Transmogrify is a rare, so I believe this is going to be in all 3 colors. This is not a mono red card. It costs.
Actually, I can. Yeah, go, keep reading. I'll let us know.
It costs 1. The next attack action card you play this turn is Illusionist. It has 8 base power and gains Phantasm. So this is one of those unique situations in which it actually would read the card as if it has 8 base power.
And it is in the full color suite, so we can expect a blue one that does 6, a yellow one that does 7, and this one that does 8.
I find it to be pretty interesting. It does have Go Again. I mean, just to allow you to play that next action card.
So there are so many goofy Blitz, like OTK Prism, like Big Attack Fractal, things that I like. That's my pet deck in
ideas.
Yeah, that's where I go for my fun place. And there are some really fun cards in this set that you could transmogrify and then you could fractal off of. We weren't going to cover it, I think, this episode, but so we had a Majestic Spoiled Vipox. It's a red 0 cost, swings in for 1, but it's in a Majestic and it's just a generic attack action, so not Illusionist at all. But it has the text of when Vipox hits a hero, they lose health equal to the number of cards in their hand. So you could transmogrify your Vipox and then fractal your Vipox, because they're going to probably try to dump their hand to get rid of that. And you can Dreamweavers the Vipox so it loses Phantasm, or you can have the Dragon out or the Aura out. So we've reached the threshold of things that remove Phantasm that you're like, okay, I can have like 6 instances, 7 instances that can remove this. And then I have this thing that turns it into a base 8. And then I have all these generic cards that I could give, turn into an Illusionist base 8 strength thing with an on-hit effect. And then I could fractal those. And that's my dream I want to live in.
I mean, it exposes it to being popped.
Well, no, you have to get rid of the Phantasm. So you have to Dreamweavers, you have to have our one dragon friend we talked about earlier, or the one blue aura that gets rid of Phantasm off the first attack you do.
You are very much living the dream, sir. And that may be how it's intended to be played. At a block 2, a cost of 1, I don't know. I'm not seeing a massive amount of uses for it. I don't know that there's enough on hits on very, very low value cards that I'd want to do this.
That's
I hope
fair.
you're right and I'm wrong.
I mean,
I want you to be right very badly.
I'm good. Like, next Blitz season it rolls around, I'm gonna try my nonsense again until Oldhim's gone from Blitz. Like, Benji just sits on the shelf being sad.
Oh yeah, you can't play Benji right now. That's
I
okay.
can't. No.
Well, Shay, is that all you got there? I mean, come on.
Yeah. And
Okay.
we just end it there. And then we just end it there. We don't even go with the card.
Yeah. Don't even read the next card.
Yeah, we don't. No, that's all you got. We got a yellow that's a 0 generic defense reaction for 3. It's a Majestic, and while this is defending an attack with 2 or less strength, when the combat chain closes, draw a card. So, and it's unattack, non-attack action card. So, fair number of weapons that swing into you. You can be like, I'm gonna throw this 0 in front of here, get the damage, and, at the end of the combat chain, pull a card.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to close the combat chain, and so some heroes don't want to do that, especially when you're, Draconic, for example. You're wanting to put a lot of them out there.
Well, it's when you're defending, so your opponent's the one who has to close the change. Dash likes this card.
I don't know. It lets you defend and then get a card back for it, so it's
Yeah.
not that bad. It only
It's just like
3, but
it's fine. Like, you're digging through your deck, so. And it's like base strength of 2, so there are some things that, like, some of these like heroes that pump up attacks a lot,
yeah.
even into some chains.
You have to under defend, which is very interesting. You know what I mean?
Well,
I guess over defend is maybe the right way to put it.
Ideally, you're looking for a card that someone pumps, or it's like someone swings in with like their Kadachi or whatever. You throw this in the way, they razor it, then you can throw this down.
well, it's just defending an attack with 2 or less power. It's not base power, so that wouldn't.
Oh, it's not base
work.
power. Oh,
It's
that's
not base
dumb.
power.
All right.
So yeah, you're. This is really only for things like your Vipoxes and your like 2 strength, 3. Basically, yeah, your 1 or 2 strength detrimental on hit things.
This is just for.
Or it's a end game type card, right? So like we're drawing towards the end. I gotta block everything, and this card helps me block everything, but also still get something to do something with on my turn, right? Because I get to draw at the end of it.
Okay, so maybe mech is just the only thing that really wants this because they're wanting to dig through their deck to find equipment and stuff. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I could see running it in some warrior situations, but also it looks like they very much just copy pasted Garen from League of Legends on this card.
So like there's like a lore like implication a lot of this that I guess Solanas is just showing up to try to crush the rebellion.
Yeah.
Which is like
it's very interesting to see that they would want to be involved in this. I'm not really sure why, and that hasn't been explained enough to me, or if it has been, I haven't read enough of the lore yet.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the lore with this is gonna kind of shape up to be. But speaking of something that doesn't need flavor text, because the image speaks for itself, we have a race face. This is a 2-cost red majestic. It's a generic attack action. It is 6 strength, 2 defense. When a race face hits a hero, cards and tokens they own lose all class and talent types until the end of their next turn. This shuts down so many people.
Yeah, and it attacks for 6 for only 2 power. Or 2 cost, 6 strength. I mean, it's not nothing. I would have loved it to be a 7, but you can't have everything. It does only defend for 2, but
it doesn't matter. You're like this thing is just there to like I present 6 damage you have to block, or else like your turn is a potato unless you're like 5 heroes.
Yeah, class, talent types. That's
like, does your hero care about words? Then you have to block 6 damage here.
You absolutely do in most scenarios.
Like you can toss like a dominate onto this thing, pummel this thing. Pummel this thing feels extra bad. But yeah, this is disgusting. I love it.
I'm interested to see the errata here, not the errata, but the pre-release to exactly what it means on the whole losing talent types. So what exactly the effect of losing talent types is.
So anything that would check for, like, say, a draconic card, none of your cards or tokens or anything are draconic anymore. Your hero, your hero checks for like ice. Like that card's not ice anymore. So it's going to be interesting. It is going to be one of those cards where you play it and your opponent next turn is like, well, I do. Oh no, I can't.
No, I do very little.
Yeah.
On the bright side, it basically does its effect whether it hits or not, because they're going to dump most of their hand.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we should get a little respite before we finish up here.
Yeah. The lovely Oasis.
It is. Well, honestly, it could be better, but it's not lovely. And it's a common, so we're not expecting a lot of effort here. Prevent the next 4 damage that would be dealt to your hero this turn by a source of your choice. If they have less life than each other hero, they may gain 1 health. This card is called Oasis Respite. It costs 1 to play. It is a generic instant, so it's not an action, but it has no defense value to it.
It's also a common.
Yeah, you're going to see him a lot. Again, I'm guessing this is the Gambit, Prevent 4/3/2.
Yeah. I couldn't think of a good Oasis song to make a joke with. I just completely blanked, and I really feel I let the listener base down.
Really? You couldn't think of Wonderwall?
See, and that's where I let us down.
It's like their only song. I don't see how you're forgetting this.
It's really bad because I constantly quote Wonderwall. It's
or the Boulevard of Broken Dreams and Wonderwall crossover.
That's true. The one that really gets me is Smash Mouth, where like they just mess with like tones and everything, and I can't tell the difference.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually do know.
Yeah.
You know, I thought you were completely off the rails there, but I'm with you. I
Hmm.
remember it, and I
Yeah.
have the same
Couldn't.
complaint.
Yeah, I couldn't tell the difference. I was like, it's the same song, and my friend who's like a music major,
Was mad at you.
like blood was coming out their nose. They're like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know."
I mean, we're just gonna go with this is very for me. It's fairly solid. It does have to be a single source, so it's not like they can come in for 2 and 2 with a Rosetta Thorn and you block 2 arcane and 2 physical. You would indeed have to block only the arcane or only the physical. Um, I don't know. Pay 1 to block 4. I think I'm fine with that.
Yeah, 1 for 4, and you could gain a life if you're lower on life. Like,
I think it's going to be pseudo essential for some of the Dromai and Phi type builds, the Redliner builds, when they go up against Wizard. Gives them a little bit of a play to block that arcane damage.
and in like constructed proper, there are some heroes that might want something like this for some reason. So yeah,
I mean, I mostly see it as a slot in against Wizard, but I'm not saying that is not the case. I could see you playing it against heavy dominate decks as well. You just prevent an additional 4 as an instant, and if you timed it right, also gain 1. So I can
yeah,
see it in a couple things.
I do like the. There's also the sigils of protection that are in the set. That they're more telegraphed. They're just a card with ward. I think it's 2, 3, 4 that you can throw out on the board, and they'll soak damage. So it is interesting that they're playing around with damage negation outside of like traditional, just like a defense reaction. Because I do think we probably are saturated for a good long while with like, Fate Foreseen, Sink Below, all them. So
Yeah, especially when it comes to the generics. I completely agree with you. I don't think there's a lot else we can do there.
And that said, there's not a lot of defense reactions. I think the only one I saw was actually one for Islander. That was I think it was an elemental wizard one. So,
The one we talked about today was that's all you got as a generic defense reaction, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean that is a majestic though, so
Hmm.
it's not like
So
you're
yeah,
seeing it a bunch.
yeah, it's gonna be. I don't know. We're in an interesting place.
Aren't we always before a new set comes out? And then somebody smarter than I am solves how powerful Bravo Star of the show really is, and then we repeat the process.
Yeah. I mean, we all should have known that Captain Planet. He's a hero. He's going to take pollution down to 0.
Wow.
Yeah.
So on that note, I am gonna say thank you to Alex if he is stuck here
Through all
for
this.
our stream test. So I realize that most people are just listening to this as a podcast, but we did do this as a stream test this evening because we're working on new overlays and things of that nature. So as we go out today, I'd like to give an extra shout out for anybody who hopped on for our first ever Twitch stream that we actually really put this through its paces. Other than that, we have been Kodachi for 3. Thank you very much for watching today. Of course, as always, we are sponsored by Edmond Unplugged, a local store in Edmond, Oklahoma. That's where we play. That's where we primarily get our giveaways and things like that, which are actually coming up shortly. And other than that, enjoy playing in the flesh and blood.
Bye. All right. All right, we can stop.
We can indeed.
All right.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. You're definitely going to have to remove some crying noises.
It's okay. Like, I should be able to find them in the background and everything. And get that, like, taken care of, no problem. Yeah, it probably will be tomorrow afternoon, evening before I can get this thing edited, unfortunately. But I should be able to get it powered through. I'm not going to be able to make it out to Thursday this week, but I will try my hand at working on some notes and stuff for sealed and draft guide for. Wow, that's more. Hey man, that's more than the Jade Throne ever got. Be it we only ever used our Twitch to play dot hack GU. So Mhm. Yeah, and it's more engaging than me reading, you know, fake mid 2000s MMO email message boards. Yeah.